Hey guys, what the heck is up? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are here to do a video that's very different than most things I put onto my channel. I have not done a video this raw and vulnerable in a really long time, and I feel like it's necessary. I have been asked to do this and asked questions about self-love and certain parts of my situation and how I've been able to grow. Whatever it is, I've been asked about it, and I want to start sharing my story. The last 2 years for me have been, I would say, like 70 to 75% complete and utter hell. I've dealt with a lot of hurt from people, from myself. I've been in very dark places, and I had to really put myself first for the first time ever. And I am going to be 24 in 2 weeks, and this is literally the first time in my entire life that I'm confident when I say that I'm a great person and that I love myself. And it's really emotional when you think about that I've been alive for a quarter of a century almost, and it's taken me this long to get here. And it makes me sad to know that other people struggle with this just as much as me, if not more than me, longer than me, deeper than, whatever it is. And I'm a firm believer in you get put through things and lessons to help others. I have a helper personality. That's, if you take any of the personality tests, I am 100% a helper. So I want to share my story and my thoughts, and I hope that this can help one of you validate that your feelings are accurate, help give you guys some motivation, some advice, whatever that may be. I'm not really sure, but I just feel very inclined to do this, so I'm here to do this, bottom line. As I mentioned, the last 2 years for me have been really hard for, I would say, all of it. When I was happy, it was very surface level happiness within myself. I had great memories, I was around great people, anything like that, but I've always just relied on food or materialistic items or other people to fill my happiness. And I think a lot of us can relate to that, and it's almost overwhelming to help yourself, if that makes sense. I have been in a place for as long as I can remember where I have felt so overwhelmed in so many different aspects of my life in regards to being happy, being content with how I look, how I feel, what I allow into my life, my thought, just everything. And I just felt so stuck in every aspect that it was easier to put all of my effort and energies into helping other people than it was to help myself, bottom line. And I think that's something a lot of people can relate to, because it's almost like an avoidance of, I really don't like myself, so if I put all of my energy into another person, into my work, into this, then I don't have to deal with it. And the harsh reality of that is it's gonna hit you, and it's gonna hit you 10 times harder the more you just put band-aids over it. And so I would say, especially in the last year, if we wanted to shrink it down even more, the last 8 months, shrink it down even more, I feel like I've had a lot of self-love expedited, if that makes sense, in the last 2.5 months-ish, just due to situations and me finally just hitting a point where I was like, I don't deserve to feel this way. And I think that's a realization that everyone needs to have, is you don't deserve to hate yourself. You don't deserve to lack confidence in yourself. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to know your worth. You deserve to do everything in life that makes you happy, because you're a human, and every single human deserves that. And I know that's not easy to believe sometimes, trust me. You could have every single person in the world tell you that, but until you believe it, it's not gonna click. And I know that it's hard, because you can't just like watch this video and be like, you're right, I deserve it. And I hope that maybe for one of you that it does click, but I know that that's not the solution, is just like, oh, that phrase clicks. How, for me, I think the really big eye-opener for that was just that realizing I am the only person that is going to have my back from the second I was born until the second I die, and every single second of every single day. There's only one person that can do that for you, and that's yourself. And that alone is so powerful, and you deserve to build that relationship with yourself, because you're human and you deserve it. Like, at the bottom line, you want to be happy with yourself. And I know it's more than just realizing that, but for me, that was the first step, was just like there's these times where I'm gonna be alone and the only company I'm going to have is myself, and just realizing that I need to get to a point where I could sit in this bed all day and be completely content in my own company. And forgiveness within myself was something that I still am working on. When I say that I love myself, it's not, I love myself, but there's days where it's easier than others, and that's natural. And I think understanding that, and that this whole thing is a journey for your entire life. It's not something that you can focus on for X amount of months and then everything is all good. No, in 5 years you're gonna have days where you struggle with how you feel about yourself, whatever. But knowing at the end of the day that you're great, I think is just so powerful. For me, some of the really big things that I did, the biggest thing I did was start putting myself first. And this was really, really, really hard for me. And I think that's just my helper part of my personality. I'm not sure if any of you guys can relate. But I really don't remember the last time that I did something genuinely for me that I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that I started doing things for me how I wanted them. And in the last year, especially again in the last 2 months, I have realized how important that is. You can see in my content, you can see in how I dress, you can see in what I do, you can see in every aspect of me how much I've changed in a positive way in the last year because of that. For example, I love YouTube, but I always was so afraid of what other people thought of me. I was always just trying to do what my friends were doing, and that didn't make me happy. And I had to sit down and figure out what made me happy. And I still don't fully know everything. We'll get into that in a second. But I had to sit down with myself and say, does my channel grow this way? Yeah. Do I get more views this way? Yeah. Am I excited to make this type of stuff? No. Do you love YouTube? Does this make you happy? Yes. So what are we gonna do for you to make it like yourself excited to make content? And I think that you can tell definitely in the last like 8 months that my content has completely changed, but I'm so much happier doing what I'm doing. And that's obviously just an example. Again, I did that with school. I don't know what I want to do, and I know I struggle a lot with that because I am surrounded by a lot of really successful people, and I am so proud of every single one of them. But it's hard sometimes to be around that when you don't exactly know what you're good at or what you're going to be successful at. And it's really, really, really hard not to compare yourself to that and to let that like get me down. And it did for a really, really, really long time. So what kind of helped me with that was just kind of realizing that every single journey is different and not to compare yourself. Again, it takes time, easier said than done, but I feel like comparisons is a lot of the things that do affect at least me and my happiness and my worth, because I would compare myself to my friends, be like, well, I don't have this or I can't do that. And we're all on our own journeys. You're on your own journey. You also only see what people allow you to see. You see people's highlights, and when you're comparing yourself to when they look the most fit, their best videos, their cars, their best trips, their best times, of course you're gonna feel terrible about yourself. Like, you're seeing somebody's highlights, and that doesn't mean that they're happy or that they don't have their struggles. And just comparison literally will eat you alive, and it ate me alive for a really, really long time. And sometimes I still catch myself doing it, but my growth has come in understanding that everyone is really on their own paths and that I can't compare myself. And so it's a lot easier for me to shut off my mind. I think it's natural for everyone to compare, but I think just acknowledging what you're comparing to is not realistic is very, very, very helpful. And I know, I hope that some of these things these are just all the things that like I've had to learn and go through to get to a place where I feel content with myself. Putting myself first into school, student loans are scary. Taking the time to dedicate to school is scary, but I knew it's what I needed to do to get to the next place for myself. And so I did it, and there's power in that. And I'm so proud of myself for doing what I needed to do for myself. Another example I could use was VidCon. I've posted about this a couple times, but not going to VidCon this year broke my heart. Literally, the first day they were at VidCon, I bawled for like 2 hours because it was just so hard for me. But it's what I needed to do for myself, and I'm so proud of myself for doing something that hard. And I know it sounds silly that that was that hard for me, but it really was. And just knowing that sometimes what's best for you isn't what's easy. If this whole self-love shit was easy, everyone would already love themselves. Those are just a few examples of the things I've done to put myself first in my content, in my career. For my mental health, I have started working out, and not even to lose weight. And I think that that's like a really, really, really big thing, is just for my sanity. And I know people say this all the time, but the amount of anger and stress and emotional pain and everything that gets released when you're lifting weights or you're running, whatever you're doing, is crazy, and it feels so good. And I feel so good about myself. I am more proud of myself for doing that than anything else. And I just think it's really important to do things, and these are just things that I've had to do. Obviously you're a different person and you know what you need to do and what you need to change, but taking the initiative to change them is huge, because not only are you working towards a better you, but you will be so proud of yourself. So proud of yourself when you start to do these things for you and get progress for you and for nobody else. Like, it's so cool. So another thing that I've done is change how I eat. That has always been one of the biggest parts of my struggles, is I treat my body how I'm feeling. If I am on a high, I feed my body freaking Wendy's French fries, Dunkin' Donuts, Domino's pizza 24/7, which is not healthy. I felt sick all the time. I felt terrible about myself, and I just felt like that's what I needed to do. And if I was sad, I would still treat my body terribly. And just, again, building that relationship with yourself. For me, it's not about weight loss anymore. For me, it's treating myself how I want to be treated. I think that we all love, you can love somebody in your relationship, you can love a friendship, you can love your parents, you can love your animals so much, and not love yourself to that extent. And that's confusing to me. It's confusing that I am capable of giving so much love to a boyfriend or a best friend or my mom or my dog, whatever it is, and then treat myself so terribly, and understand that, like, I need to treat myself the way I treat the people I love. And so a lot of that had to do with food in my situation. Again, everyone's different, but that's a really big thing that I had to sit down and process. And it's hard, and it is hard, and you really do just have to sit down with yourself and be freaking honest with all of the things that you aren't happy with, all of the things that are changeable, all of the things that your mind is convincing you, like me saying I'm not worthy of certain friendships, I'm not worthy of this. The only reason you think that is because your mind is letting you think that. I'm never going to be fit, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve to treat my, like, it's all in your mind, and the only person that has control over that is you. And I hope this is everywhere, and I'm sorry, these are just my thoughts and they're just coming out like word vomit, so love that. But I've had to change a lot of my diet, and that's helped me a lot mentally. It's made me feel so good about myself. It's made me feel less sick all the time. I have more energy. I'm, again, not getting sick 24/7, and I'm just more confident in myself and proud of myself, because I'm showing myself that I'm capable of doing all the things that I want to do, and I'm teaching my mind and my body that it's deserving of the good, because for a long time I felt like it wasn't, and that makes me sad, because again, we deserve all of the love that we give to the others around us. There's no reason that we don't. At the end of the day, there really, really isn't. Another thing is forgiving yourself for your past. And again, situational. For me, there was a lot of things that I look back on, and I'm just really sad that I did that to myself. Really, really sad. And you have to, again, sit down with yourself and be honest. The first step, I feel like, is forgiving yourself for what you put what you put yourself through. May that be in a relationship, may that be with food, may that be with alcohol, may that be with whatever it is that's hurting you. And that's a lot of my thing. I think I had a lot of hurt and doubt within myself, and just forgiving myself for the things I put myself through was huge. And just knowing that I can't take them back, but I can grow from them, and they made me the person I was, and that it doesn't make me a bad person, and that we all make mistakes, and that's part of life. And again, forgiving yourself was huge for me. It was literally like 10 pounds lifted off my shoulders, just forgiving myself for all of the hurt and pain that I allowed people to inflict on myself, or that I've inflicted on myself, or my mind's inflict, whatever it is. Letting it go has helped me so much. Other things, I don't self-deprecate as much as I used to. If you look back on my old videos, I always was being self-deprecating around my friends. I was always being self-deprecating, and you really are your thoughts. So like, wake up in the morning and I either write down, or I look in the mirror and I say 3 affirmations, like, you are this, I'm grateful for this, whatever, every single day, to start on like a more positive note. Where before, I feel like all I did was talk negatively about myself, and so that's what I believed. And I know that sounds so small, but it's really so helpful. It truthfully is. Just taking that negativity out, even in a joking matter, it's dope. It really is. It helps so much, and it sounds so silly, but it does. And I'm just trying, there's just so many things. It's still such a work in progress, and I am still trying to understand it more and more every single day. But and I think that that's another thing I've learned, is you almost have to be a robot in the beginning of this journey, and not forever, but it's almost like I have this, I've mentioned it a few times, I've sat down and had this conversation in my head of the things I need to do for myself, and what's okay, and what I allow, and whatever it is. I've had that conversation with myself so many times, and knowing exactly what I need to do every single day to get to a better place. And it's hard. I mean, life isn't easy. The journey is not easy, but I have like, okay, so you're allowed to eat this today, and this is what's good for you, and you need to go to your school, and you need to go to the gym, and you need to do all these things that will make yourself feel better and proud of yourself, and release endorphins, and do healthy things, and heal in the proper way, and do all of that. But it can be exhausting. Like, it really can. And so I just wake up in the morning in a robot mindset. This sounds so weird to say, but it's like I wake up and I know that like I have to do these things no matter what I need to do if I want results, and if I want to improve how I feel about myself and my life, and do all these things. So I wake up and I literally just do them without thoughts behind it right now. I don't get to question it. I don't get to make excuses. I wake up and I'm a robot, and I go through my day, and then I feel really proud of myself after for getting it all done. And that's helped me a lot. And just remembering that the process that you make right now, it's not about what you do today or what you do in the next week. It's all gonna add up, and long term you're gonna feel better. I 2 months ago was sitting on my mom's bed on a Saturday just crying, saying how much I hated myself, and knowing that I had good in me but not knowing my full capabilities. And just every single day taking the steps that I needed to take to get to a better place. And I knew that it wasn't going to happen in a week or 2 weeks, but I look back and see what I've done in 2 months and how I feel about myself now, and I know that I'm worthy of certain things, and I know what I can tolerate, and I know what I need to do for myself. And it's powerful. And be patient with yourself, and be kind with yourself, and just trust the process. As cheesy as that sounds, there's going to be good days and bad days, and good weeks and bad weeks, and treat yourself to things that you deserve to be treated to, and do the things that make you happy, or try to figure them out, because that's hard too. But it's okay that it's hard, and just being patient and kind and loving yourself even a little bit. Like there's 0.0000001% of you at least in your heart that wants that for you, and you literally just have to dig so deep, if it's that minimal, and find that and hold on to that so tight and let it grow. And I know that sounds so cheesy, but that's what I literally had to get to, the place 8 months ago, 2 months ago, where I was in such a dark and miserable place. That's all I had, was that like 0.001% to hold on to. But I knew I wanted it, and I knew I was sick of hating myself, and I knew that I didn't deserve that, and finding that and holding on to it, and just not letting go. And that again sounds so cheesy. This whole thing is so cheesy, but it's my thoughts and it's what I've done, and I hope that this has helped one of you at least. I hope this makes sense to one of you at least. I have so many more videos coming in the next few months about self-love and healing and everything like that I want to share with you guys. It's just not the right time. So I hope that this video is the start of that, and I hope that this helps somebody. And if anyone has questions or wants to talk in the comments, I want my comments to be a safe place for everyone. If you want to share your story or any advice that you can give to people or to me, or if you need support or if you need anything, message me on Instagram. I don't really use Twitter right now, but comment down below. And just, you guys deserve to be happy, and I hope that you guys get there, and I hope that you guys already are there, and I hope that this again has helped or motivated one of you in any sort of way. I know this was really random and really weird and hard and vulnerable, but I love you guys so much, and I am so glad that you guys get to go on this journey with me, and that I get to see your guys' journey as well. And I will see you guys later this week for a normal fun vlog. I love you, and I'll see you guys soon. Good